One battle after another. That's right, folks. We're going to do this in a long-winded format. I'm sorry, I'm still getting over a cold, so I don't know how long I'm going to be able to talk in a full sentence. So just sit back, relax, and we'll get into this one. Because this was always going to be a long video anyways. I think it's going to be long. At the time I'm recording this, I do these without no notes. I just go off the top of my dome, per se, how I'm feeling about a film. And when it comes to this movie, it feels like one where there's a lot to say. One battle after another. It is the new film from Paul Thomas Anderson. PTA is back. When was Licorice Pizza? 2021, I think. It's been a minute. So he's back doing another Thomas Pynchon novel. Last one was Inherent Vice. Divisive movie. One battle after another. A little bit more of a straightforward movie that people are liking. This was such a interesting movie to discuss because there was just so much to get into with it. First off, people like PTA a lot. I understand it. He's never been one of my guys. When it comes to the 90s and 2000s film bros, I struggle a lot. I don't really love a lot of the works of Tarantino or PTA. And I won't say he's one of my guys. He's just not. He never has been. That's not me saying he's made a bad movie, because I don't think he's made a bad movie. Dude is consistent. He's just not one I respond to a lot. But that's okay. A lot of people do. There's a whole generation before me and after me that worship this guy. And I get it. I do get it. I'm okay with that. I'm not mad. I understand. He's a very talented filmmaker. Started young, worked his way up big. Now he's making his most expensive movie? It's over 150 million, this movie, isn't it? Warner Brothers gave him a lot of money to make this one. And it was always going to be a gamble because he's not a really successful, filmmaker in terms of the finances behind it. They make decent enough money, but they're not blockbuster hits like some of his contemporaries. So this was going to be an interesting one regardless. Very interesting source material, a lot of money, and then the critics' reviews come out, and it is suddenly one of the most celebrated works of the year. A lot of the critics I follow, scratch that, every critic I follow and I trust says this is a masterpiece, it is perfect, it is flawless, one of the most important works of the modern era ever made, ever conceived. It is one of the celebratory pieces of filmmaking in our lifetime. A lot of praise, and I understand it. A filmmaker people like, getting a lot of money from a big studio to make a big studio movie. That's exciting. That's very exciting. I'm here to tell you, if you don't already know, and by chances are you do, One Battle After Another is a really good movie. Flawless? Maybe. It might be flawless. I can't think of a single thing. Like an acting beat, a line of dialogue, a thing on frame, the way the camera moves, a song choice that makes me go, that was wrong. I don't like that. It just looks effortless. That is one of the most interesting things about this film, is how effortless it looks while still feeling like the biggest production that this guy has worked with. I don't understand that blend. That is the sign of a filmmaker. We're looking at a once-in-a-generation talent. And this is the kind of movie that a once-in-a-generation talent should be making. This is PTA going back to the present time, which is not something he's done since Punch Drunk Love. Was that the last one set in the present day? So the world's changed. Things are different. It's very fascinating that filmmakers of today, like Ari Aster, Zach Krager, James Gunn, Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, they want to talk about stuff that's happening today in their movies that come out this year. Almost like it's a very tumultuous time in our lives, and filmmakers are political and they want to talk about certain things. PTA feels the same way. It's almost very clear how he feels about certain elements of American government, about military complexes, about ICE in particular as well. and immigration. And it's almost surprising that he does that because, his last film was just, let's go back to the 70s and chill and stuff and look at these people kissing and being groovy. And this movie's like, the world's broken. People are always going to rebel against that, which I guess is his notion from the beginning. He was one of those filmmakers growing up that's just like, counterculture programming. We're making independent films at this scale and people are going to celebrate it more than the big bucks, He's one of those guys, so of course it makes sense that his films would feel like that. It's just really interesting that Warner Brothers let this get made at their studio, which has kind of been like the staple for Warner Brothers this year. They've had a lot of interesting choices with like Superman and Sinners in particular. And this being a blockbuster on that same scale, it's just really fascinating that they're letting these types of films get out there. So I think it's just fascinating. He knows what he's doing. And that's such a stupid thing to say, but it is so obvious. He knows how to hold on to a shot for a long time. He's got the Spielberg eye of just, we'll start in like one thing here, zoom in on it this way and move the camera this way to tell the story. He understands how to move his camera to make everything look magical and beautiful. And when it's all shot on location, it's incredible. The locations in this are great. And yes, I think this film was shot on VistaVision. I'm not too sure. It's got a classic feel to it. There's some dilution in the colors to make it a little more matted. It just sparkles and shines and has a whole unique flavor to it. Utterly amazing. There is some moments where I can feel myself being, well, this is taking a minute to get to where it needs to go. But even if that's occurring, the movie is not boring and not slowing down. It is just fully embracing what it has to do. There's not a scene that needs to be cut. Everything that we are seeing on screen needs to be there to tell this story. Does it get a little bit on the nose sometimes? Sure. But you have to remember, audiences aren't the smartest people in the world. People who watch content like this online, you're not a general audience. You gotta kind of spoon feed things to people. So when characters explain who they are and their motivations and whatnot, it makes sense. And detracts a little bit, but not enough where you're like, ugh, man, that destroyed a scene, or that just threw us off course and we have to like reiterate this. It's handled very well, very smartly. I'm okay with it. Gorgeous looking movie. Like, I could give you specific moments that I think are beautiful. They're probably the same moments that everyone's going to say. The opening is one of the most amazing openings I've seen in a film in a very long time. A super strong opening. There is the sequence with DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro when they're in the apartment complex. And, World War III's breaking out. Everyone's coming to take us down. That whole energy of that sequence is my favorite part of the movie. It is fast-paced. It is chaotic, but organized chaos. It's utterly unbelievable filmmaking. And then there's a sequence of a car chase, which is such a unique car chase because it's not over the top. It's not loud. It's just cars on a road following each other, and it's just so well handled where the tension feels real. A lot of that has to do with the score, which is a fantastic score. I don't know if a lot of PTA films are known for their score as they are for their soundtracks, but man, tension building, tension releasing, a perfect little score to get us through this entire film. And if you are like me and you just like movies about people like rebelling against the system and trying to tear down the patriarchy and the people in charge and everything, this is the movie for you, because that is what this is, man. We are following Leonardo DiCaprio. He is a member of the French 75. This is like a resistance fighters who go in and break people out of like these immigration prisons, or just like take down like these oil rigs or stuff. Like they're just anarchist taking things down. During that, he falls in love with this woman played by Teyana Taylor, who I'm familiar with. She's a very, very charismatic actress on screen. She is just the physical embodiment of don't get involved with that sexy woman. She's going to ruin your life. And she plays it so well. And her story ends up with her being connected to this important general named Stephen Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. And he becomes the antagonist of the piece. It opens up with him being humiliated by her, so he wants to seek vengeance on the French 75 because of it. So those three people. DiCaprio, I don't know if it's a career-defining performance from him, but it's so believable that he's a terrible guy. You know, he's just a high, drunk mess who can't get his life together, and there's nobody that could play it like this guy who clearly can't get his life together. DiCaprio is a good actor. Sorry to have that hot take. He is just phenomenal in this and just looks like a mess. I know some people are saying he's playing like a Big Lebowski type character. He is certainly not. Lebowski's confident and calm. This guy is panicked and frightened. He is a monstrable disaster. And he looks insane. It's a cheap costume to make if you want to do it for Halloween, but it's iconic and it will stay iconic. It's in Fortnite. That's how iconic this look is. And it's a movie that's been out for a couple days, and it's got a skin in Fortnite. You know? So DiCaprio is fantastic. Tiana Taylor, unbelievable. This girl, she's got to go far. Man, she's awesome. But Sean Penn, like, I don't really think I have much negative to say about his performance. It is a performance. Sean Penn is a very interesting guy off screen and on screen. This is the most pathetic man who wants to be taken seriously you've ever seen on film. He is a loser who somehow bumbled his way into power, and he's using it and taking it out on people who are talking shit against him. I wonder if there's anybody like that in the present day America who might have some political power. I don't know. Penn's a very politically minded actor, so I'm sure he is pulling inspiration from a lot of people when performing this role. But he looks insane. He walks insane. He's an insane man who says insane things, and he wants to join an insane club, which we're not going to get into, but that gets into some politically minded stuff too, the Christmas Adventurer stuff. Very Eddington coded in that aspect. I think there's a really cool pairing you could have with those two movies. You could say which one handles the politics better between the two. I think Eddington's making fun of it a little bit more and saying, yeah, this is all stupid. But this movie's like, it's dangerous. And both can be true. There's also a really incredible supporting cast in this. Benicio del Toro shows up for a little bit and is just calm, collected, steals the movie. He steals the movie and just acts his ass off next to DiCaprio. It's just unbelievable what he's doing with very little. You love to see it. Regina Hall doesn't get a lot to do, but very comfortable in the things she does do. And then newcomer Chase Infinity, which is one of the greatest names I've ever heard anybody have. She is a natural, just confident and swaggerful and fully embraces the situation. She's such an interesting character. She is DiCaprio's daughter in this, and she gets kidnapped, kind of. And it's like, we got to get her back before things go bad, man. And she's so good. She's a very talented young actress. I'm very curious to see where her career goes from here. Because I don't know. You know, like, does she take off? I don't know. I hope she does. Because if she could hold her own against Sean Penn, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Regina Hall, like, you're going to do good in this industry. Because those are some of the best we got. And you're schooling them sometimes in this. Like, when you have a movie where there's no bad performances, I don't know how you talk about it. It's just so perfectly executed. And I don't even think PTA is one of those, like, very meticulous guys where everything has to be perfect. He's just letting his actors be comfortable and take chances and experiment. And it's very good when he just lets people go off and do something different. It's so fascinating to see that. This is such a confident film that just knows what it's doing. Do we want like a 20-minute sequence of people in cars driving down a road? Yeah, let's do it. Do we want to see like countless extras tearing down the streets of this city? Yeah, let's do it. Let's blow stuff up. So many explosions, so many car crashes. Like, there's money behind this, and you can see it. You gave this guy a lot of money to make a movie that he would have made anyways. So you give him more money, it's going to look just that much better than it would otherwise. It's unbelievable. This is why we go to the movies. I mean that. Like, it's not going to do commercially well. PTA never does. But you let a guy like this tell a very political story that talks about today with actors who are open about talking about today, with a fascinating script, beautiful camera work, and you're shooting on actual film. You're going to get a masterpiece. And no, this isn't what I would consider the greatest film of the decade or the year or this era. If anybody said any of those things to me, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. This is aimed for film fans, and film fans are going to just eat this shit up. And I think normal people will too if they decide to see it. Some people might be put off by like the, long tracking shots with the interesting musical choices and the kind of cynical underbelly of the piece. But it's also inherently funny, really dynamic, and it's operating on a different level of success. Like, there is just nothing else like it. It feels wholly unique, but so 2025, which is kind of impressive. The more I sit here and think about the film, the more I'm remembering scenes I like, the more I'm remembering moments that are just beautiful to look at. This is exactly what studios should be greenlighting, and exactly the kind of thing people want to see more of. Maybe not this specific thing that might be mocking a certain party or military industry, but this is it, man. One battle after another gets it. It's confident, it's comfortable, it's beautiful. It's not even the best PTA, and that's saying something, because this movie's flawless. It's genius. It is so weird. I'm obsessed with how he holds tension for so long and just builds up to stuff, because it's just a pressure cooker the entire time. It is so well executed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, one battle after another, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.